Hello and welcome to episode 128 of the Mo Money Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Morehouse. Welcome. And welcome to another listener series episode. For this episode, I am interviewing Tracy Ma, who, man, she's got her stuff together and she really talks to me and shares some of her insight into real estate investing, something that I'm very curious about. And beyond me owning my own, townhouse with my husband, that's pretty much as I've done in terms of real estate investing. And I kind of did some air quotes there. But she has, a great story that I know you're going to love. But if you're listening right now and you're wondering how you can get involved in part of my listener series, super simple. Go to the show notes, jessicamorehouse.com/128, and I will put some more information in there on how to get in touch with me to get on the show with me. Now, before I get to this awesome interview with Tracy for the show, I first have a few words about this episode's sponsor. Support for this episode comes from Credit Card Genius, the only tool that compares over 50 features of 150 Canadian credit cards, using math-based ratings and rankings that respond to your needs instantly. Now, you can get rewarded faster without all the headache. Visit creditcardgenius.ca to learn more. Once again, that's creditcardgenius.ca. Thanks, Tracy, for joining me on the show. I'm excited to chat with you.
I'm so excited to chat with you. Yay!
Yay! So thanks for emailing me with your story. It is quite the story. And you're a Vancouverite as well.
Yes, formerly Vancouverite.
Vancouverite, just like me, yes. Former Vancouverite.
Right, but I'm really a prairie girl from Regina, Saskatchewan.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm like all across Canada. How about that?
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I've actually been to Regina. Oh, wait, have I?
Have you?
I think I have. Yes, I have.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, did I? I definitely went to Saskatoon. I've been to Regina, yeah. And I also went to, I can't remember what the name of the town is, but there's, it escapes me. But there's this little town with this really, Yorkton. I've been to Yorkton before.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
There's actually a well-known film festival. The Yorkton Film Festival happens every year there. And I went there several years ago and it was a lot of fun.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, I know.
So cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That should be on the tourism for Saskatchewan. Because
I
didn't know people would travel all the way to Yorkton for this festival. Cool. Oh, yeah, I have to tell my friends about this because I don't think they know, and they're all in Regina.
Oh, it was like one of the funnest trips I've ever been on, I'll be honest. It was awesome.
Oh, my. I'm going back to Regina. I need to go check this out.
Yeah. For sure. So I would love to hear more about your story from basically, you have dealt with a lot to get where you are now, which is, you're an entrepreneur with a bunch of rental properties making you passive income, which is kind of like the dream, my dream, lots of people's dream, to be able to kind of have enough wealth that you can choose really what you want to do in life instead of being chained to maybe a job that pays your bills, but you're not necessarily doing what you want to do. So I would love to kind of start from the beginning. And you did mention you are a prairie girl and you kind of grew up in a rough neighborhood. I would love to kind of know what that means in Regina and what did those kind of early years look like for you?
Well, so, you're right. I did grow up in a very rough neighborhood, but looking back, I really think that all these circumstances helped me get me to where I am. So I started out, being a prairie girl from Regina, Saskatchewan. I grew up in the east side of Regina, which is a pretty, I would say, rough neighborhood, compared to where I'm living right now. And during that time in high school and in all throughout elementary, I battled racism. But really, looking back, it just added to the adversity I faced and then just helped build my character. And so during that time, I went through high school like everyone else. And then I started, having a part-time job. And then along the way, I went to university, and that's when I started accumulating debt. So the funny thing is, I went to university with a scholarship, like a couple, I think three scholarships. So I should have had all my school paid for. Unfortunately, I didn't get my 80% average in first year engineering. So I lost one of the big scholarships. And then after that, I had to start having student loans to get me through university because I didn't grow up with a silver spoon. I came from like a typical first generation immigrants where my parents didn't have a lot of money, and I learned the value of money really young in life. And so I accumulated pile debt in university, and I was living in the most expensive city, which is Vancouver. So to make it through, I had to share a queen bed with my cousin. So imagine a family of 6 people living in a 3-bedroom apartment, plus me. And I didn't get my own room. I slept in the same bed with my cousin, and then I commuted to UBC for an hour to get to school. Came back for an hour. So, anyways, that just took up a ton of time. So, the key thing is I think all this is just adding up to this, building my character.
Oh, definitely.
And so what happens? I graduated from university. Had this pile of debt, and then I graduated as an engineer. So you'd think, yay, I get to like pay off my debt as an engineer. But the thing is, I was very fortunate. I got three job offers right from when I graduated. But the thing is, I didn't choose the highest paying salary. In fact, I chose the lowest paying salary out of the 3 offers because I chose a job that would gain me the biggest skill sets, and that was the most interesting job. So I took the rough road. I took the lower paying job. And then what happened is because I really didn't like the debt, I worked 2 other jobs while as being an engineer. So, thing is, I've been juggling a pile of work all throughout high school and university. I juggled a job in university. So it just seemed like, why not? Like,
what's the difference? You've kind of been used to it, right?
Yeah, you're used to it. Exactly. So I worked as an engineer, as a model, and as a tutor. And
those are interesting. That's an interesting trifecta of jobs.
Yes. It was not like forced. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I had a lot of interests in a lot of different things. So it turns out that anyways, it's like more like, I want a photo shoot in a contest, and then it just turned out I can make money as a model, and then so anyways, I just leveraged the opportunities I got, and then started accumulating the money and paid off my debt really quickly. And so, but I realized like after working like 70-hour work weeks for 2 years, it was really, really getting, it's actually impacting my health. And I started I had headaches every single day and my heart palpitations. So I realized I can't do this anymore. I can't work the 70-hour work week. So I said, what can I do with the money and make it work harder for me? So that's when I realized I quit my 2 other jobs. Basically, I didn't, once I paid off my debt, I ended up not tutoring anymore, end up working as a model. And then I focused just on my day job, and then started saving and then investing real estate. So that was my big side hustle at night. I became a real estate investor. And along the way, I built a multi-million-dollar portfolio across Canada while starting a family with twins. And
oh my gosh, you're making me feel really lazy.
No. I mean, you know what? I just said, look, it seems like a lot, but if you think back, if you high school, you had a part-time job.
Yeah.
In university, you had a part-time job, and you studied probably like hell in or in school, right? So then, if you kept up with that pace, just continued on that, what would be the difference? So that's how I felt.
True. What I'm so curious. So, what got you interested in like invest? I obviously understand. You're like, how do I make my money work for me instead of me just working for the money all the time? I totally get that. Why did you get really interested in real estate investing, and how did you start that? Like, how did you start learning how to do that? Because I think that's always kind of an interesting thing. Lots of people have different ways. There's lots of different conferences and programs. How did you start learning about how to invest in real estate properly?
So the key thing was I didn't just jump into real estate investing. I guess as part of I'm Chinese, so part of the Chinese culture, they're heavy into like saying real estate. Right. Like I think it's part of the culture that, I didn't think of stocks. When I thought of investing, I thought of real estate because that's the culture I was brought up in. Secondly, in terms of investing, the interest in investing actually started in high school. And what's funny is that I didn't know what to do in high school like everyone else. I didn't know I was going to become an engineer. So I was really scared, and I tried every class possible thinking, okay, well, can I be a psychologist? So I took a psychology class. Can I become a lawyer? So I took a law class. And then I took an economics class because I said, I don't know, maybe this might be helpful. So in this economics class in grade 11, everyone was given $100,000 of fake money to invest in stocks. And during that time, I lost a ton of fake money. And this is like the biggest, like one of the pivotal moments of my life was that my economics teacher taught us how to trade in stocks, how to buy stocks, how to invest in stocks. And through that process, of course, typical like me, I'm such a cheapskate. I bought penny stocks and I lost a ton of money. But the thing is, I knew how to interpret. I knew what all these different, price per earnings and all those little the stocks ticker prices. So I got used to just knowing about stocks. And then I continued actually investing stocks when I was in university. And then I realized, well, I wasn't making as not much money as I wanted to or as I could. And that's when it grew. My comfort level just grew into real estate. And it's part of the culture to invest in real estate. And so to gain knowledge, I just talked to my people I knew who invested in real estate. I read a ton of books, and then eventually I got a coach to get me, because it's a high knowledge area in terms of investing in real estate, because there is a lot of things you need to know. You can't, a really good way to actually think, I was just thinking like, what's the easiest way for someone to invest in real estate is like if you buy your own house, think about having a suite, like a separate apartment. And that way, that would increase, your experience with rental properties because you're doing it in your own house with an apartment suite. So by trial and error, then you increase your comfort zone, then you might scale up and say, oh, I can buy other rental properties. I know how this works. I read books or I got a coach. So anyways, that's how I actually started, was also having a place where I had a separate suite too.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that kind of starting small and then just kind of growing and growing. And yeah, one of the reasons I think me and my husband bought a place, because we do eventually want to kind of, grow our real estate portfolio and add other properties. It's like, I don't want to own a rental property until I own my own home and know what that's all about and everything that goes into it. Because you can lose a lot of money when you invest in real estate and you don't know what you're doing, or, you got to be careful.
For sure. And also part of it, I was just thinking back, like what got me into real estate. It's also just seeing my family. They were poor. They didn't they were barely making over minimum wage. But the funny thing was that this, particularly my great aunt, she's in Vancouver. She was a beggar when she was in China.
Wow.
She lost all her, she was formerly rich. She lost all her wealth because of the change in government. And then she's a beggar in China. Somehow she made her trek all the way to Canada. She scrimped and saved and started buying she bought her own home, and it had an apartment suite. And I remember visiting her way back when I was 12 years old. And I remember saying, wow, she's got an apartment suite. She's, I thought maybe it's to make ends meet, but really, she was scaling. From then, she used that and she bought another property and then another property. I just saw that happen to her, and she didn't make a lot of money, and actually very little money, but she somehow made it through. And so now she's a, millionaire and multi-millionaire in Vancouver. And anyways, that helps also open the doors for me, just seeing other people do it.
Yeah, that didn't start off being rich. And I think that's like another conception or a misconception going on right now where, a lot of the people that are, making their wealth from real estate, it's because they already had wealth to begin with. And so, because it is, especially like if you're to invest in real estate in Vancouver, you have to already be a millionaire basically. So that's another question I'd have. Where did you decide to start investing in real estate? Was it in Vancouver or did you look at other areas?
I actually, when I was in Vancouver, I just literally paid off my debt. And then I got engaged. So then my husband basically like forced me over to Ottawa because I was engaged. And the eye opener was that Ottawa price is obviously a big difference from Vancouver.
For sure.
Right. And that's where the big eye opener was for me, because I saw in Vancouver, you can own a property, but the numbers don't work out very well. Like you buy a $600,000 apartment, but how are you going to get like $5,000 a month in rent to cover the expenses and give you some cash at the end of the day, right? Thing is, in Ottawa, the prices are much lower. So that's where I started, was in Ottawa. But the key thing is that as I scaled in Ottawa, I also helped my brother actually bought his condo in Vancouver, I think 5 years after buying my own rental property. So I have an investment property in Vancouver, and I just took opportunity where there's a dip in the market. So in Vancouver, there was one point, it was during the financial crisis, where there was apartments going in, one bedrooms for just barely over $100,000 in downtown Vancouver.
Oh my gosh.
Right, I know. I can't comment on the condo fees. It might have been quite a bit, but the key is there was a dip in that market. Yeah. So I got my brother to buy. I bought the condo for my brother because of that dip. So it's realizing opportunity. It's it's just like there's dips in the stock market. You pick up, say, more Apple stock or whatever, because you see the price drop, then you take advantage of that. So hope that helps you.
Yeah. So you started when you were in your later 20s investing in real estate, and how many, like how often did you add to kind of your rental property portfolio, and like how large did it grow, and what are your kind of major plans?
So I had this ambitious goal where I said, I don't think it's ambitious actually compared to other real estate investors out there. I wanted to buy one a year. So
that does sound ambitious.
I'm 10 years into it now, and I have I keep forgetting the number, but I've 13, 3 of which I manage for my family. So that's part of me giving back to my family, is that they didn't have a lot of money growing up, and they brought me over to Canada. So now I've helped them buy real estate and manage it for them for free now. So I have 10 of my own, 3 of which are not mine. I have 13, 3 of which are not mine. I manage for my family. So yes, I don't know. I guess I met my goal.
Yeah, you did.
And the thing is, I didn't save. The first few years I saved, but then I used equity to buy the other properties. I did joint ventures. I did a lot of creative strategies where I moved into the home and then moved out. In that home, I still kept the last home. I rented it out. So I did a lot of little creative strategies, and I have supplemental income from having an apartment suite in my own home. And so that I consider that as a faucet. I turn on the off faucet if I want extra income from my apartment, or turn off because I just want that space back. So with that, that's where I'm at right now. In terms of great future plans, I'm planning to actually consolidate my portfolio now. So now that I've grown my wealth, now I want to pay down the debts, pay down the mortgages. Right. So then I increase my cash flow. So then I could take longer breaks from my career. So my career, and by day, I'm a project management consultant. I'm not, I have my own company, but I also want to take 6 months off in the year. Or 8 months off. So I'm able to do that, and I want to just decrease my risk and by consolidating and make it a smaller portfolio now.
Yeah, no, I guess, that is kind of another thing I was thinking is when you do have so many properties, there is the risk of, if something happens, you have all of these mortgages that you're tied to. Yeah. So I guess you just have to constantly monitor what's going on in the market and make decisions that will make sure that you're always going to be afloat.
Right. Yes. And I evaluated the loan to value, what's the value of my rental or all my properties versus the debt against it, and I'm at 50% loan to value. So meaning like I'd have to lose 50% of all the entire portfolio to like break even and pay off my mortgages right now. So I'm in the safe zone, very much in the safe zone. Banks will only loan you like 80% loan to value. So 80% of your purchase price is what they will loan to you. So I'm at a point where I have enough equity in the rental properties. I could survive a big economic downturn and keep my rental properties. And but then I'm at a point where, there is a situation where you want to grow your income, grow your wealth. And then if you don't need to take more risks, then take it off the table. So consolidate. That's where I'm at. I'm starting to reduce my risks right now.
And by consolidating, do you mean selling some of those properties to pay for some of the properties?
Exactly. Yes. So exactly. So to pay it off. So I want to be debt free. Is what I want to be. So right now, I still have my own mortgage in my home. I have a home equity line of credit. And that is basically what's used to pay the down payment. So some of my properties, but with selling 2 properties, I would wipe out my own mortgage and the HELOC right now.
Oh, wow.
So it's a matter of just putting the time and making and getting the properties marketed and sold right now, which I haven't put the time into it. And then that way, then I know, like, if I want to take another year off, then I will, and I can, right? Without, even if my husband lost his job, like, I'm just I want my big security blanket right now, especially, I didn't consider all this stuff before I had my kids, but now that I have my kids, I'm just playing it more safe.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm wondering, since you do own 13 properties and you've been doing this for a number of years, what have you learned about like investing in real estate that you didn't know when you first started? Like, has like there been quite the curve and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did some of those things?
Yes, there's been a lot. I would say like, you read a lot of books, you could take a coaching course, you could be mentored and everything. Thing is, you're gonna just have to learn partly through the school life. And one thing that I really learned dearly was that a lot of people stress about making the numbers work. So yes, of course the numbers work, meaning that you got to collect enough rental income to cover your property taxes, to cover your mortgage, to cover maintenance fees, to cover expenses and that kind of thing. But the thing is, and then I want to buy a place in a great location. But the thing is, to make the numbers work, sometimes you have to have a lot of tenants.
Right.
And that's the key. That was a big learning curve for me, because my second investment property was a multi-unit property. I had three little apartments, a triplex, 3 little apartments in one house. The numbers worked magically. It was cash flowing. It was in a perfect location, but I underestimated the time commitment involved. Right. Although the numbers worked, and you could read a ton of blogs say, got to make sure cash flow's king. For sure, cash flow's king. But at the same time, you got to think of tenants as also children. The more children you have, the more chaos there could be. And so I bought this rental property as my second investment property. I had how many tenants? 3, 4, 5, 6 tenants in that one house. And it involved lots of like doors being broken down, and I had a big water leak that resulted in a $90,000 damage. Thank God it was paid by insurance. And that was my first year, like, not having a property manager. So I learned a ton that, yes, the numbers worked out, but in the end, I didn't realize that having more tenants also meant just more time commitment. Even if you, and even after having a property manager for that unit, it's still oversight from your end. So that's one thing is, I would definitely really, really look at how much time do you honestly have available before you buy a rental property. Like, you want to choose it so that it meets your lifestyle. And then the other thing was, always assess, risk before reward. So conduct your due diligence. So you can you could look for a real estate agent that specializes in real estate, but don't rely on everything from them, that they might give you a pro forma sheet, which would calculate all the magical numbers, but you got to do your own due diligence. So you got to check out, is that the rental income you really can get?
Yeah.
Is that the property taxes you really will be paying? You have to conduct your due diligence. So assess your own risk. Your risk tolerance is not the same risk tolerance that real estate agent has.
Yeah.
And so you got to qualify every rental property. You got to qualify from that perspective, and you have to always reflect, how is this going to change my lifestyle? And are you okay having it getting in? It's going to impact your lifestyle somehow.
Now, it's funny, just like, thinking back to where we started in this conversation of you being this prairie girl in a rough neighborhood to where you are now. Did you ever like have these aspirations when you were younger of making it in this capacity? Or is this kind of just like, wow, I can't believe I did this?
I can't believe I did this. I would say I am not the typical, I would say if you had a stereotype of Chinese girl, I am not that typical Chinese girl. I actually almost had to go to special school. I failed a lot of exams when I was young, and I played hooky when I was in elementary. I got kicked out of preschool.
Kicked out of preschool? I didn't know you can get kicked out.
Oh yes, you can get kicked out. My parents had to beg me to be back into preschool, beg the teacher. So my parents remind me this all the time. So I never wanted to grow up. When I remember in grade 2, never wanted to grow up. I was like, that sucks. Growing up means more responsibilities. But one of the biggest pivotal moments of my life was when I was grade 6. I don't know why I asked my parents, but I said, hey, Mom and Dad, do you have any money for school, for university? And they said no to me. So that was when a big, brick hit me. Like, I thought, wow, I have no money for school. How am I going to find that money? I need to go to university. I can't be a dishwasher. I was working in a restaurant for my aunt as a dishwasher at that time. And I said, I don't want to end up doing this for the rest of my life. So I decided to just change my ways and start working hard. So that started studying, going to school and doing my exams. And turns out I ended up getting a scholarship. And that was one of my key goals, was to get a scholarship to pay for school. So I had no big aspirations, saying I'm going to be a real estate person and own tons of stocks and all that. No, I just thought it was more of a survival instinct for me.
Yeah.
And then also, like, I had a coworker who gave me some words of wisdom. Was he was one of the first guys I knew who got a full-time engineering job. He was a couple years older than me. He said that he started making some money, and as he got raises, he never changed his lifestyle. So that was key for me, because I said, wow, so you got raises, but you never consumed more. You just maintain your lifestyle, and you just start keeping more of your money by saving more. So anyways, those are the kind of key habits I've learned. And also, again, coming from going through economics, learning how to invest in stocks, there's just a lot of little things that added up in my life that got me here.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I want to touch on before I let you go is in your email, you mentioned that you wanted to kind of preface that you don't necessarily feel or see that owning your own home should be viewed as an investment, which I think a lot of people, that's why they buy their own home to live in, is they think, oh, I'm investing for my future. Even though, yeah, I kind of tend to agree with you, because the whole, thought process of like, well, I don't want to, continue to throw my money away on rent. I'd rather own. What are your thoughts on, like, why do you have this kind of opinion about home ownership and living in your own home?
Well, I would say that it's because when you buy your own home, you become emotional. When you buy rental property, it's more of an unemotional purchase. So coming at it from the school of life of having my own home is that you inject a lot more money into your own home. You want to make the kitchen nicer. You want to make the exterior nicer. You want to make your sidewalks nicer. So you end up injecting so much money into your own home that your return on your investment is actually you made, you're just relying on appreciation. On your own home. While if you bought a rental property, you have another tenant paying down the mortgage. And then also you're collecting a bit of cash flow every month from that tenant. and you're also gaining from appreciation if it does happen. I think a lot of cities does happen, but I'm just saying that that's not a reliable factor. But so there's three ways of making income when you buy a rental property. But if you buy your own home, you're relying on appreciation, and because you are the one paying the mortgage, and also you probably put in way bigger down payment on your own home because, again, like I said, you put in a lot of monies painting and changing the flooring and changing the kitchen, and you're not going to get all that money. You may not get all that money back is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I agree, which is, I think, part of the reason why I'm so hesitant to do all the projects I want to do in our home. So I'm like, we could redo the kitchen, we could redo the bathroom, but do we need to? Well, let's just wait until things start to break down and things start to look really bad. Then we'll do it.
Yes, I know. It's
hard, though.
Course,
it's hard.
Yes, but of course. But you could do little things that keep you happy.
Exactly. Fresh coat of paint actually does a world of difference. I
know. That's easy stuff. I'm just saying, like, spending $30,000 in hardwood flooring. Yeah. A lot of people do that. Or they spend $90,000 in a brand new kitchen or a brand new basement. So just, the guys, because it's an emotional thing. It's your own home, right? You could go overboard.
I know. And I never really understood that until I bought my own home, because before I just lived in rentals and I never really had that much of an attachment. I always felt like it was temporary. But now that I own my own place, it feels like it's my baby.
Of course. And so that's why I stress, like, hey, if you can free up some space, meaning I say one of the smartest ways to get into real estate is buying a house with an apartment that you could rent out. Because then you have some tenants, another person who could help you pay down your mortgage, or you could have no mortgage, meaning you don't have to make any mortgage payments because you have a tenant in this apartment that's paying your mortgage, right? So that's kind of like, that's a really simple way of getting into real estate, one of the smartest ways. But again, comes with your lifestyle. Do you want to lose that space? Is there a security issue because you plan to have kids? So you got to evaluate all your options.
Absolutely. So do you, I know your email is financialnirvanamama.com. Do you write about your financial journey as well?
I do. I'm this sharing. I feel like just have to contribute back because I read so many books and I read so many blogs. I'm like, I'm so selfish with my knowledge. So, I mean, like, taking the knowledge. So I want to bring out my knowledge. So I started this website 3 years ago. It's about creating wealth and building lifestyle. So it is my journey trying to reach financial nirvana. And I'm a mama, so that's why it's called Financial Nirvana Mama. And it does share actionable tips, lots of my school life experiences investing in real estate. I share the good, the bad, and the ugly because I really want to be very transparent of my journey. I feel a lot of people aren't. There's a lot of gurus who sell, hey, this is my $20,000 coaching course. Take it for 6 weeks and buy 6,000. I don't know, like they'll encourage you to buy as much real estate as possible without realizing that, they don't really. I think that the big stress factor is that they don't. A lot of times it's for you to figure out if you want to spend all that time because you end up being owned by those rental properties versus you owning them. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I think now I have the bug again to, start doing some more research on maybe possibly buying a second property.
Well, read my blog.
There's
lots of good stuff about it. And you might I share a lot of interviews of other people who've done it, who are, just starting out and who have kids. I'm sharing like real life experiences from other people who've done this. Awesome. So just to, help other people.
And that was episode 128 of the Mo Money podcast. And that was an interview with Tracy Ma for my listener series. And if you would like to get involved in part of my listener series, super easy to do. Just go to the show notes at jessicamorehouse.com/128 for more info on how you can submit yourself to be part of my listener series and chat with me for an episode and share your story with the world. It'll be fun. I promise. And also, So first, before I get to some other things that I want to share with you, is some words about this episode's fabulous sponsor. A big thank you to Credit Card Genius for supporting the Mo Money podcast. If you're not aware, they are the only tool that compares over 50 features of 150 Canadian credit cards by using math-based ratings and rankings that respond to your needs instantly. Now you can get rewarded faster without all the headache. If you want to find the best credit card for you, make sure to check out creditcardgenius.ca to learn more. Once again, visit creditcardgenius.ca to learn more. Once again, this is episode 128, so check out the show notes. And also hit me up if you want to be part of my listener series. Another great place that you should go besides the show notes is my Facebook group. If you're not aware, I have a Facebook group. It's awesome. There's over 1,000 people in there, new people trickling in every single day. And really what it is a support group. I wanted to create a positive, non-judgmental online space where people can ask questions about money. There's no dumb questions. Help each other, get some advice, see what other people are doing with their money and investing and saving and budgeting and all this great stuff. So make sure if you want to be part of this awesome online community, you can do so at, just go to facebook.com/groups/money-life-balance. It's called the Money Life Balance Community. And we're always looking for new, awesome, positive members. And if you're listening to my show, you totally fit the bill. So I hope you decide to join us in the group. I also do my book club in the group where we read a book together. Well, not like physically together, obviously, not with one big book, but you get what I'm saying. We interview through a Facebook Live the author of the book, and I'll talk about the book, ask questions to the author, and have a good old time, and just get smarter about managing our money. So I hope you take this opportunity to join us. But otherwise, I will see you back here next week for a brand new episode of the Mo Money Podcast. I will see you next time.